So finding commonalities with her is so highly important, and it builds so much rapport. And now it makes it way easier to set up a date too if you have the same things in common. Hey, I'm going to do this. You know that she already likes it. She's far more likely to be down and want to do it. Hey, what's up guys? Dale Valor here for Modern Valor Dating. Today, we're gonna be talking about a topic that I think is vastly important. All right, so what that topic is building comfort, building rapport. Because listen, it's gonna be very, very difficult for you to get any woman's attention and get any interaction to really get rolling if she's not comfortable with you. I mean, think about it like this. When you're interacting with somebody and you don't feel comfortable with that person, how likely are you to open up and to really want to invest in that interaction? Probably not very much, right? The attention level is not going to be very high. You're going to be looking to get out as soon as possible if you're not comfortable with that person, right? So this is no different than that. It's just from the other perspective, okay? So listen, we're gonna talk about how to build rapport, how to build comfort. We got a boatload of tips on how to do that. We're gonna hop into that right now. Let's get it. Number one, comfort routines. All right, now we've talked about this in other videos, things like that, in doing routines. Some people are with it, some people aren't. I personally am a big fan of it. I use it in my game, but you know, if it's something that you don't feel comfortable with, that you don't feel like is you, that's okay, you know, because we got a ton of other tips that we're gonna touch on that too, but this one, building comfort routine. Now, this is just me personally, but I find it to be way easier to get to know somebody by playing little psychological games where, and now I don't mean like, you know, like you're playing with their mind, but what I mean by that is, you know, like little personality tests and little quizzes and things like that, just to break the monotony of just normal conversation, showing that you can do something a little bit differently and that you have dominion over her world, okay? That is vastly important, all right? And I find it to be highly effective. Again, if it's something that you don't want to do and something you don't feel comfortable with, that is okay. No worries, you know, like I said, we got a gang of other tips to touch on that stuff. But now I'm not gonna go through and do a bunch of routines and things like that because this video would just take way too long to you know, for me to go through all these different routines. However, you can Google them, all right? And it should be able to break it down for you. And it's something that you will have to, you know, kind of know how it rolls, you know? And here's the thing, even if you aren't 100% correct with, you know, doing some of these routines in the sense of, you know, you're doing a lot of cold reading in it, okay? And even if you're not 100% right, that's okay. You're not shooting for accuracy. You're shooting for an engaging, fun conversation. That's the goal here, to build comfort, all right? So a couple of routines that you could Google, and it will break it down for you. I'm sure you'll be able to find it, but the cube. I find the cube highly, highly, highly important in my game. As a matter of fact, when I'm running a set, I am looking to get to the cube. If I can get to the cube in my set, it's a wrap. From there on out, I would say it's a 90% clip for me, all right? I just have to get to the cube. That's what I'm driving to do. Now, I can't just walk up and be like, you ever heard of the cube? You know, that's not gonna be my opener. But however, I am going to work towards it, okay? If you Google the cube, you'll be able to find it. I believe there's a YouTube video actually that has graphics and breaks it down really thoroughly, all right? Another one is eliciting values. It's very simple. It's very easy to remember. And by the way, I believe a lot of these comfort building routines, the outcomes of them to be accurate, okay? It's not just fluff, especially the eliciting values. I find that to be highly accurate in showing what a person's their ultimate values are in life, okay? And, you know, again, it's just showing something different, something that not every guy does, all right? So, okay, we're gonna hop into tip number 2. Let's get it. Hey, just wanted to take a brief time out to remind you to hit the subscription button if you're getting value out of this channel. We don't want you to miss anything, so hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop a comment if there's something you want us to touch on, a particular topic, or you got a question, you know, want us to do a video on something. You know, we're happy to at least consider it. All right. So listen, guys, we're going to hop back into the video. Number 2, making statements. All right. So what do I mean by that? Okay. So you're starting to get to know somebody. Maybe you've separated her from her friend group and you've got some FaceTime, you know, one-on-one. I like making statements over asking questions. All right. Now you can ask questions too. You can kind of throw those in the mix and, you know, but I think that making statements lands a lot better because, you know, here's the deal. Nobody likes feeling like they're on a job interview. You know, so what do you do for work? Oh, I do this. What do you do for work? Oh, I do this. What do you do for fun? I do this. What do you do for work? I do this. You know, like, so nobody likes to have that job interviewee type of dynamic. However, if you make statements by saying, you strike me as the type of girl that likes to do this, she's going to tell you if you're right or wrong, you know, and if you're right, she's going to be like, I am like that. You're very insightful. If you're wrong, she's going to be like, no, I'm not into that. I actually am into this instead. You know, she's going to correct you, you know, if you're wrong. So here's the deal. If you make statements, it just makes it the conversation a lot more fun than just being like, what do you like to do? And she's like, I like to do this. You know, it just sucks. It's just a horrible way to have a conversation. It doesn't feel authentic. It just feels forced. All right. Making statements, it doesn't feel forced. It feels like matter of factual. Hey, you seem like this. And she'll be like, you're right or you're wrong, you know? So nonetheless, I think it's the perfect way to get to know somebody on a deeper, more intimate level. All right. All right, we're gonna hop into number 3. Let's go. Number 3, telling a story. If you can tell a story that evokes emotion, that she can really see vividly, and just be able to see exactly what you are about through the way that you tell a story, she's going to be pulled into your world. And she's going to be able to see your world from the way that you weave this story together. And then second to that, she's probably going to either A, ask you questions about that story, or B, she's going to share a story herself. So now you're swapping stories. Stay out of trying to one up. So she says, oh, I've been to California. And you're like, yeah, well, I've been to Japan. And she's like, oh, I've been to Japan. And you're like, yeah, well, I've been to Hawaii. You know, like that's it. Now it seems like you're just trying to one up, you know, but if you just tell a story that seems authentic, well, it doesn't seem like it is authentic, you know, tell stories that actually happened. But when you tell a story that brings her into your world and shows a little bit about yourself, it's very refreshing to be able to see from another person's perspective, you know, that other person being you, she's seeing it from your perspective and your, you know, whatever happened. Now, you don't have to have, your stories don't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be something about, you know, how you saved the president's daughter from a terrorist threat and that time that you stormed the beaches of Normandy in World War II, even though you're 22 years old. You know, like, it doesn't have to be some tale of heroism and, you know, just like that. It can be just a regular ass story. But the thing is, if you can tell it in a way that shows who you are through the story, talk about the emotions you felt, talk about in detail what was going on, what the setting was like, you know, really set the story up. It's really going to bring her into your world. And then from there, she may want to live in that world or at least visit that world. So stories are highly, hugely important, all right? So we're gonna hop into the next tip. Let's get it. Number 4. Okay, this one here might be a bit controversial, all right? Now, a lot of guys don't feel like that this is a good idea. I personally feel like it's a great idea, all right? And that is sharing insecurities, all right? The reason I say that is you are showing her a level of trust when you share an insecurity that, she's going to take and it's going to reciprocate. When you show trust in somebody, the law of reciprocity would say that she is now going to trust you. So the more that you demonstrate trust with her, the more that she's going to demonstrate, the more that you show that you're going to demonstrate trust with her, the more she's going to show that she will trust you. All right. Now, when I say sharing insecurities, I don't mean something crazy. I don't mean something, way out of left field where in the interaction, you're just like, oh, by the way, I'm really insecure about my height. You don't want to do something like that. But what you do want to do is share something contextual that is wrapped up inside of that conversation should that moment present itself, where maybe she says something to the effect of how she was scared to give a speech in her public speaking class. And you talk about the time that you were scared when you tried out for the school play and you got the part and you were so afraid that you were going to forget your lines. And so you practiced and practiced and practiced, so like that's sharing an insecurity. All right. You don't have to go into like crazy insecurities because look, dude, everybody's got insecurities on some level. All right. I don't care who you are. You have some deep-seated insecurities. Everybody does. All right. Now, again, you don't have to share those if you feel uncomfortable sharing those. But if it makes sense for the story, share some kind of insecurity to show her that you're a human being, that you're not trying to be Billy Badass, Captain Alpha. Share something, a time that you were scared, a time that you were hurt, a time that, something like that. And again, she's going to think to herself, this guy trusts me with this information. I could probably trust him by sharing something too. And when she shares her insecurity with you, now you're really building rapport because she's saying to herself, I can trust this guy. And trust is a huge, huge, huge component to attraction. All right, we're gonna hop into the next tip. Let's get it. Number 5, finding commonalities. Listen, in your mind, it's highly intoxicating to have commonalities with somebody, especially if it's something that's important to you. If it's something that is a huge interest to you and the girl has that same interest, and it makes for it feels like a pair bonding almost, right? So here's the deal. It makes you want to get to know that person even more, especially if you share a bunch, all right? Now, some of the ways to find that is, we talked about this in an earlier tip, but one of the ways to do that is making statements. And if you make those statements and it happens, you land on a few of the things that you have in common with her. And look, once you do this long enough, you can kind of read people to an extent to where you're more right than you are wrong when you learn that skill set of really being able to read people well, all right? So finding commonalities with her is so highly important and it builds so much rapport. And now it makes it way easier to set up a date too if you have the same things in common. Hey, I'm going to do this. You know that she already likes it. She's far more likely to be down and want to do it. All right, we're gonna hop into the last tip. Let's get it. Number 6, safety. All right, listen, as guys, we don't really get it from a girl's perspective how important safety is. Because look, we're not attracted to people that are bigger, stronger, faster than us, that have a masculine edge, that could pop off. Anything could happen at any given second. All right, we're not attracted to that. They are. Okay, and so they have to take their safety seriously. Now, you could argue, you could say, okay, statistically speaking, nothing's going to happen. She should know that. Well, listen, she's probably not thinking logically in that sense. All she's thinking is, you know, is this guy going to throw me in his trunk unwillingly? All right, so, you know, that's the thing. She's going to be thinking from that perspective. And if you can reinforce that you're a safe person, that actually she's safer with you than without you, if you can demonstrate that, and you can communicate that to her, that's going to go a long way, because she's going to trust you. And we talked about that earlier. You know, I truly believe that trust plus respect equal attraction. All right, so if she really trusts you and really respects you, she's likely to be highly attracted to you. All right, now here's the thing. She has to be able to trust you. That's where it starts. And safety is a huge component of that. So make her feel safe. Talk about the time that you defended your ex-girlfriend against a gang of ninjas. Whatever. You know what I mean? Just showing that she feels safe will go a long way. And speaking of which, a little while back, we dropped the video on does she feel safe with you? Now we're going to link it here, and what I want you to do is check that out, because it goes really, really deep on that whole safety angle. All right, and how to show her that she's safe with you, even though you're a masculine dude with an edge. You know, she still wants to feel safe. All right, okay, I'll see you there. All right, okay, I'll see you there.